Hi friends, this is Paul Gilson from the Paul Gilson YouTube channel, and this particular video is not a pipe related video. This is for a young man that my son and I, who turned 18, Paulie Jr. turned 18 yesterday, and we went to Walmart, and we happened to run into this nice young man. He's 22 years old, and we got to talking, and all three of us were talking. And somehow we got on the subject of shoe care. Don't ask me where that came from. I don't know. So the young man's name is Mentor. Yeah, Mentor, which is spelled Mentor. We got on the subject. He has some very, very nice boots. They're made by Timberland, which are not cheap boots. He wanted good boots. Now, Mentor is from Haiti, so they don't have cold and snow and so forth. And he happens to be a good Christian young man. And I started talking to him about the care of his boots. So that's what this video is really about. I made a promise to him, my son and I did, that we would do a video for Mentor to mentor him on how to mink oil boots, make them waterproof. So Mentor, this is for you. And mentor, you can Google it, means to mentor someone or teach them, someone that is older. So it's kind of all fitting together here, isn't it? Well, I made you a promise, Mentor, that tonight, after my son left and went home, that I would do this video for you. So we're going to do it in stages, so it's not 45 minutes long. All right, the first thing you need is your Sunday Best socks. I like to use 100% cotton, okay? Clean, all right, because it absorbs the mink oil. Now, mink oil basically comes in these little tins, almost like tobacco tins, all right? And you can use any type of mink oil that you want as long as it says mink oil. So what I've chosen is I have, and there's many different brands, Peak Mink Oil, Shoe, Boot, and Bag Care, all right? So this has a little thing on the side here. You open it up, and there's the mink oil. Now, do not, I repeat, do not use the spray-on mink oil stuff. I don't like that. I'm old school. My dad showed me how to do this like 50 years ago. It's the consistency of chapstick. And if anybody else is watching that understands this, bear with me. This is for Mentor. I made him a promise. Yeah. So that's what it looks like right there. Almost like chapstick. They sell it at Walmart. If they don't sell it at Walmart, Mentor, you can get it at Tractor Supply. Google that. That's right in Brockport also. Right near where you live. So we have our tin here. And we have our holy socks, our church socks. And the reason why I call them church socks, this is a clean one that's worn out, all right? And it's my church sock because it is holy, meaning it has holes in it. That's a joke. So, first thing we do is take the laces off the boot. We have a dried out boot here that needs mink oiling, all right? We clean any debris or anything that is out. This is called the tongue, and this is where the laces go. And this can be a source of leakage where water can get in. Also around the sole area, also around any areas where it's been stitched together. So we're going to get right to the point. Mentor, I bought this. These are a pair of shoe inserts. These are actually made out of cedar, and I bought these a long time ago when I was your age at a place called Sibley's. And they're made out of cedar. They used to smell real good, but now they're like really old. But you don't have to do this, all right? This is the process I use. You can just do it like this. But the reason why I like these shoe inserts is because once you put it in, it gives some firmness to the leather, so when you're rubbing the mink oil in, all right? that doesn't. But you don't have to have these. You can do it without it. All right. But that's the way I do mine. All right. We're going to pause the video. I'm going to get some things ready. We're going to go to stage 1 of mink oiling. I'm going to try not to make this a 30-minute video. We'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. So step 1 is to have your boot unlaced, your mink oil ready, your sock that's clean, and I like to use 100% cotton because I don't like, it just soaks up the mink oil better. So you have your mink oil here. You take your finger like so, all right? So I'll place my finger like so. So I have full control over digging in and getting plenty of mink oil on the sock. So I start out with a dab about like that. What I'll do is I'll start out on the outside of the boot. And basically what I'm doing is I'm kind of massaging it in. All right. I'm making sure that I get around any parts where water can get in. And I've mink oiled plenty of people's boots, including my own. When we're done with this, you could step in a puddle of water and you wouldn't get a drop inside to make your feet wet. All right, so you can see, and what that'll do is, these are older boots, but if you have lighter boots and put mink oil on it, it's going to darken the leather. There's no way to get around it. So this does kind of clean them. All right, so that's how we want to do it. We want to put a generous amount on there, but not such a generous amount where it would look like something like that. That's way too generous, okay? Step 2, all right? We're going to get into the areas where water can get in, all right? So we're going to take this. This is the tongue of the boot. We want to hold this back. We want to get in along under the laces where any source of water. Now, you can put this in kind of thick, all right? You're massaging it in, just like that. So basically what it's doing, it's soaking into the leather, it's soaking into the stitching of the boot. Make sure you get this seam real good. These other parts where the laces are, you can kind of hit them maybe a little bit lighter, but whatever you do, you're going to want to make sure that this mink oil soaks in real good, okay? You're going to also want to get the tongue, basically anywhere where water can get in, you're going to want to do. And if your boots are real thirsty, yes, you can go through a can of mink oil. So, here again, all on the inside here, all on the tongue, all on the inside of the other spot here, all through here. So, I'm going to actually do up a boot, and I'll show you what it looks like. I'm going to pause the video. We'll be right back. Okay, so one other thing that I wanted to stress on. Where you have marks where the boot is bent from you walking, you want to make sure, okay, and I'll try to find a spot like on this side. It might be hard to see on the camera, but there's wrinkles in the boot here. Basically, you want to massage that in. Massage it in, all right? So you're not just kind of going over it, but you're actually massaging the oil in the boot. That's another key step. We'll be right back. Okay, so one other key step, okay? Where the heel of the boot is sewn onto here. You can see it right here. There's a heel, the heel of the boot, I believe you call it, comes over here. There's stitching. What you want to do is, see how I put that on there pretty heavy? All right, you want to get this into the threads of the boot and everything. So you want to pay special attention, and you can see how I'm wiping this. So I do have a lot of excess there, all right, but we're going to take care of all that. So you can kind of see that, all right, and that'll form a line along where the boot has been sewn together on the heel of the boot. That's what you want. We'll be right back. Okay, so one other tip, and I don't have any editing materials or anything. I'm just doing this off of a cell phone. So on the insole, okay? Meaning the inside. This is a left-handed boot, so this would be on your left side. On the inside, there is a dip in there. You want to make sure that you get plenty of mink oil in there. So where the rubber meets the leather, you want to make sure that you get in there right down. Get your finger right in there, press real hard, make sure that mink oil gets right in there. If you don't, that's going to be a source where water can come in. So basically the mink oil, this stuff, is a water repellent, all right? And if you miss a spot, it's kind of like not having the full armor of God on, you know? I don't know. So you got to make sure that you get in there really good. If you just go over that, you step in a mud puddle, you're going to get leakage through there. It has to go all the way down from the leather to the rubber. Okay, so we're back. So now I have the entire boot mink oiled, all right? I did want to share some tips, okay? If you have a farm or whatever, or you've been hunting or what, if there's mud on the boot, prior to doing the mink oiling process, you can take a damp cloth, wash the mud off, okay? But keep in mind, the leather has to be bone dry when you go to apply the mink oil. You don't want to seal moisture in, all right? So what we've done with this boot is we've gotten the tongue very good, all on the inseams where the eyelets are for your shoelace. And actually what we've also done is we've put a light coat of mink oil around the edge of the boot. The reason being is what it does tend to clean the boot up, all right, a bit. Never, repeat, never get it on the bottom or you will slip and slide. You're going to fall on your fanny possibly. Now would be a good time to replace a couple of things if needed. Because if you're going to have really good boots, I won't go through the different brands, but if you're spending good money on boots, all right, a tin of mink oil is, I don't know, $5 or less maybe. All right, you can do this as needed. All right, this boot right now, all right, has the proper mink oil applied to it. All right, and now is a good time to replace the shoelaces, usually the boot laces. The size of the lace basically is measured in loopholes. All right, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's 2 little open ones on the top. That would be 5, 6. All right, that is how they measure how long the lace is. So you don't want to get one that's too short where you can't get those top open loops and tightly put the boot, lace it up tightly on your foot to get the proper support. A lot of guys will walk around with expensive boots with short laces with a tongue hanging out like that. That seems to be a trend now, but I'm not one of those guys. I'm old school. So we do have that. Now, the next thing that I do with these boots, and also too, you might get inside the tongue and the seam here, but if you can see this on the video, this where the eyelets are and where the inside of the boot is, you have a small area here, all right? It's very thin where the leather is. You also have to make sure that you coat that. Any way that the water is going to get in is going to get into your feet, all right? Now, the other thing, besides changing the shoelaces, all right, which I do when I do a boot rehab, is a lot of times your boots will come, if they're good boots, all right, they'll come with an insert. And if this has been dampened or anything, it can create odor. These are replaceable. Some of them are glued in. Some of them aren't. It all depends on the boot, all right? So like on this pair here, You can deodorize these with spray. If you can't get it out of the boot, you can get the deodorizer spray in there, or you can take some Arm & Hammer baking soda and put it inside the boot and shake it around a little bit. That process sometimes works, sometimes doesn't, depending on how bad the smell is after the boots have gotten wet. They do have a rotten foot smell because it's damp, whatever. So the next thing I would do is apply a heat source to this, and I don't have it handy because my hair dryer, whatever. When I had a hair dryer, what I would do is I would take the boot at this point, hold the hair dryer far enough away where you're not getting too much heat on it. If you get too much heat on it and the hair dryer, the blow dryer, gets too close, what it'll do is it will cause the elements inside of the dryer to overheat, and there sometimes is an emergency shut off, or sometimes you can blow up. It'll just stop working. So you have to keep the proper distance. Go over it with a hair dryer. You'll actually see it melt right into the leather. If you don't have any of that available, you can let these sit overnight, all right? Let this soak in, all right? And then wipe the excess off in the morning. So we're going to finish up with a heat process that I'm not going to talk about because I just won't. But we'll be right back. Yeah, right back. Okay, so we've put the boot through my other heat treating process, and I'm not going to tell you my other heat treating process because you should not be doing this in your home unless you know what you're doing. But as you can see now, everything is melted in, all right? It's all melted in. Normally I would let this boot sit overnight and let it just settle. But we're going to take a shortcut, all right? I'll be right back. Okay, and so we're back. And so basically what we've done tonight is a process. I don't have editing stuff, so I don't know. It seemed like a long video. We took a dried up boot like this. It's been water soaked and whatever. And what did we do? We turned it into this, okay? That is how you rehab your boots. Now, this boot, you can see a small crack here where it's separated the stitching. I won't even touch on that. This has been a long video, but I wanted to get as many points across as I could on how I do this. My father taught me how to do this from the age of 12, which was 40 a million years ago, all right? You could take this boot right now, all right? And you could stand. If it wasn't for that crack where it's separated, and we won't even get into that, you could take this boot and stand in water, standing water, up to here for probably about, I would say, 6 hours. And you wouldn't get one drop of water that would make your feet wet. So, those are some of the tips. I've held some of the secrets because they're too dangerous for most people to do at home, but that's the basics. I do this, I don't even charge people for this. I've done this for several people that are very close friends that don't know how to do it. I get relaxation from it. I'll sit down, I'll put some music on or whatever, or sometimes nothing. I'll do all those processes, and it's a labor of love for me. Now, if you have a $200 pair of boots, you can never do anything with them. No maintenance. Everything on this earth needs maintenance. Everything on this earth will rust and corrode. It doesn't in heaven, all right? We won't have to do stuff like this in heaven. But here on earth we do. So, like I was saying before, a few very close friends of mine, I do these things for them as a labor of love. And it takes a lot of time. So if you have, good boots are not cheap. They're between $150 and $300. All right? If you do this as needed, you can extend the life of those boots to 20, 30, 40 years. All right? If you don't do the maintenance on them, they'll last you 6 months to maybe a couple years at best, and you've wasted your money. I could charge for what I do. My relatives on the German side came from Stuttgart, Germany in circa 1882. They were cobblers, which are shoemakers, and they were farmers. On the other side of the family, my English relatives, ancestors came from England, and they were very wealthy bankers, and they did quite well here. They came over shortly after the Mayflower. So I have that in my DNA. I pass that on. I could probably make a business out of it, but for right now, it's a labor of love. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And Mr. Mentor, yeah, I'll see you in church, I bet. Yeah, in Brockport, New York. The video is longer than like I said, I wanted it to be. I just don't have the editing capabilities yet, whatever. But you guys got the point, right? It was a lot longer than I wanted it to be. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helps somebody out. I hope it blesses their day. Mentor, I hope it blesses your day. Maybe someday you'll come over and I'll just do the boots in front of you, whatever. I don't know, but you kind of get the point, I hope. Anyways, this is Paul Gilson. It's getting late. I'm tired. I've had a long week. I'm going to rest and relax. Because right now, it is 9:54, 54 minutes after the hour. Paul Gilson, live from Brockport, New York. Over and out. I hope this blesses you.